Think Wyoming is just tumbleweeds, cowboys, and endless prairie? Think again. Hidden across this wild and windswept state are towns so breathtaking, they feel like living pages from an old Western legend. In this video, we're revealing 10 of the most beautiful places to live in Wyoming, where jagged peaks, winding rivers, and a frontier spirit still shape everyday life. Number 10. Buffalo. If you've ever wanted to live in a real-life Western town, where the mountains are close enough to touch and history practically taps you on the shoulder, Buffalo, Wyoming might just be your spot. Tucked along the eastern slope of the Bighorn Mountains, this town of just around 4,700 residents carries itself like an old soul, with grit, charm, and a view that will stop you mid-sentence. Founded in the late 1800s and named after the nearby Buffalo Creek, the town once boomed with timber and coal bed methane, and while the industries have shifted, the frontier spirit hasn't budged an inch. Walk down Main Street and you'll pass century-old buildings that aren't just photo ops, they're still in use. The Occidental Hotel and Saloon, dating back to the 1880s, is rumored to have hosted Buffalo Bill, Butch Cassidy, and Calamity Jane. And yes, they'll show you the bullet holes in the walls if you ask nicely. If you're itching for more than old legends and saloon stories, Buffalo offers access to Clear Creek Trail, a 12-mile stretch of pine-shadowed beauty perfect for hiking, fat tire biking, or snowshoeing when winter rolls in. Just a few steps from town is Bighorn National Forest, which feels less like a park and more like stepping into a high-altitude secret. And for those who like their frontier a bit softer, Mountain Meadow Wool Mill gives tours that show how local wool is spun into ethically sourced yarn. Wondering what it costs to live in this mountain-framed frontier? Buffalo keeps things refreshingly down to earth. Average home prices hover around $400,000, while rent typically sits near $1,100 per month. Monthly groceries land close to $400, making it one of the more affordable mountain towns with actual character, not just branding. Hungry? The food scene is exactly what you'd hope for. Smoky Tex-Mex, juicy bison burgers, Thai noodles that surprise you, and food trucks that show up just when you need them. Try a seat in the shadow of the Occidental, watch the mountains turn pink at dusk, and you'll get why people stay. Number 9. Lander. There's a kind of quiet in Lander that lingers under red cliffs, through cottonwoods, and inside cafes, where climbers, artists, and ranchers share space. It's not a town you stumble into. Lander draws you in. Founded in the 1870s, the town started as the final stop on the Cowboy Line Railroad. It still feels like a destination, not because the tracks end here, but because something about the place makes you want to stay. With a population of around 7,500, it's big enough to feel lively, but small enough that the barista might remember your order by day 3. For a town surrounded by towering cliffs, glacier-fed rivers, and stories older than the pavement, Lander keeps its feet surprisingly on the ground when it comes to the cost of living. Home prices sit near $350,000. Rent stays close to $1,250, and groceries average around $340 per month. Lander might look like a frontier postcard, but it doesn't cost like one of those glossy resort towns. The land here doesn't just sit still, it performs. Just minutes from downtown, the Popo Agie River does a magic trick, vanishing into the earth and reappearing downstream in Sinks Canyon State Park. Locals call it the Sinks and the Rise, but it feels more like a portal between worlds. Hike a trail, spot a few elk, and remember why people still whisper about these rocks like they're old gods. Despite its frontier roots, Lander has a surprisingly modern heartbeat. The Lander Art Center puts on rotating exhibitions and hosts workshops year-round, while community Shakespeare productions, brewfests, and the lively winter fair bring everyone out under the big sky. The food here reflects the town's blend of toughness and creativity. Grab a bison burger at the Oxbow, a cold beer, and a burger on the patio at Gannett Grill, or a sourdough pizza and latte from a local cafe that knows your name by the second visit. There's even street tacos and microbrews if you're craving something unexpected. Number 8. Thermopoulos. Some towns feel warm. Thermopoulos is warm, literally. Hot water steams from the earth, rises through the morning mist, and curls above the town like a welcome sign from nature itself. Tucked along the Bighorn River, with just under 2,800 residents, Thermopoulos might be small, but it bubbles over with personality. The name itself comes from the Greek for hot city, which makes sense considering the entire place is built on a steaming foundation of mineral water. The land was originally ceded by the Shoshone in 1896 under a treaty that guaranteed public access to the hot springs forever, and they've kept that promise. At Hot Springs State Park, you can step into steaming pools that flow at a toasty 104 degrees Fahrenheit, walk across the swinging suspension bridge, and wave hello to the resident bison herd without paying a dime. The park stretches across 1,100 acres, complete with boardwalks, waterfalls, and a bison herd that roams the bluffs like it owns the place. Thermopoulos may feel small, but it's brimming with history that stretches back thousands of years. Head over to Legend Rock and you'll see ancient petroglyphs etched into the stone like forgotten whispers. Or swing by the Wyoming Dinosaur Center, where you can walk alongside towering fossils and even step into an active dig site if you're lucky. What might surprise you most about Thermopoulos isn't the steaming springs or roaming bison. It's how affordable it is to call this otherworldly place home. The average home runs about $210,000, and rent stays low at around $600 a month. Groceries sit comfortably near $300 monthly, which leaves plenty of room for barbecues, weekend road trips, or an extra scoop of ice cream after a soak. Every July, Thermopoulos hosts Wyoming Discovery Days, where you'll find everything from folk music to drone light shows, artisan booths to dachshund races. Yes, dachshund races. Grab a sloppy Joe from the Cowboy Cafe and cheer on a pack of tiny sprinting dogs like your life depends on it. Number 7. Dubois. Tucked between jagged ridges and lodgepole pines, Dubois isn't your average mountain town. With just around 900 residents, it feels more like a well-kept secret that never really wanted to be discovered. And yet, once you're there, it's hard to imagine leaving. Dubois was first settled in the 1880s and originally went by the charmingly blunt name Never Sweat, thanks to its dry, high-altitude air. The government later insisted on a more civilized name, and Dubois was born. The town rose as a timber hub, cutting railroad ties deep in the forest. Hard work done by tie hacks, whose legacy still echoes through the hills. Today, their story lives on at the Tie Hack Memorial, not far from where you'll also find the remnants of a World War II POW camp hidden in the woods. But Dubois is far from frozen in time. Step into the National Bighorn Sheep Interpretive Center, and you'll find a celebration of the largest herd of Rocky Mountain bighorns in the lower 48. Or venture up to Brooks Lake Lodge, a historic 1922 log retreat nestled high in the Shoshone wilderness, where the air feels cleaner and time a little slower. Living in Dubois does come at a slightly higher price than some of Wyoming's other small towns, but still approachable. Median home prices hover around $450,000, and rent typically ranges from $900 to $1,200. Groceries sit at about $350 a month. But for a town cradled by national forest, framed by alpine lakes, and stitched into the fabric of true backcountry life, it's the kind of higher cost that comes with a whole lot of wilderness in your backyard. And if you're wondering about weekends, Dubois has its own rhythm. Friday nights in summer mean the Dubois Rodeo, where bucking broncos kick up dust as the sun dips behind the mountains. The air smells like grilled ribs, kids cheer from hay bales, and the whole town seems to glow with that rough-edged, boots-in-the-dirt kind of joy. Number 6. Sheridan. Sheridan doesn't shout for your attention. It earns it slowly, like the way a cowboy tips his hat or a train rumbles past at sunset. Perched near the base of the Bighorn Mountains and home to just under 19,000 residents, this Wyoming town is where the West comes with polish, history, and a heartbeat you can feel in the streets. Its story begins in 1880, shaped by rail lines and the Great Western Cattle Trail, named after Civil War General Philip Sheridan. Cattlemen, coal workers, and railroad builders laid its bones, but it's the artists, craftspeople, and quiet rebels who give it color now. The downtown still wears its past with pride. False front buildings, Western murals, and an opera house that remembers the sound of boots on wood floors. And living here, it's far more attainable than its postcard looks suggest. Median homes run between $400,000 and $420,000. Rent for a one-bedroom stays around $800, and monthly groceries land near $330. For a town that offers both powdery mountain backdrops and well-worn saddle culture, it strikes a surprisingly manageable balance. Sheridan's summer is when it shines loudest. Each July, the WYO Rodeo rolls into town, not just a sporting event, but a full-blown celebration. Parades flood the streets, chuck wagon breakfasts fill bellies at sunrise, and the whole community turns out for concerts, crafts, and bronc riding under bright arena lights. It's a blend of pageantry and grit, where you'll see cowboy boots and art gallery stamps on the same sidewalk. But Sheridan's real magic lies in its mix. Museums and murals coexist with antique shops and community theaters. Art on the Green paints the park with creativity, while galleries rotate local works like clockwork. There's always something going on, but never too much. Before we move on, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to our channel. Your dream town could be up next. Number 5. Pinedale. Pinedale isn't a detour, it's a destination for those who hear the call of the wild and actually answer it. Perched at 7,100 feet in the heart of Sublette County, this town of just over 2,100 people is where pine forests stretch for miles. The air smells clean and cold, and every road seems to lead straight toward the Wind River Mountains. Pinedale earned its name honestly. The pines here are thick, tall, and everywhere. But don't let the small town feel fool you. This place punches well above its weight when it comes to natural beauty. The Wind River Range, one of the most rugged and scenic mountain ranges in the US, is practically Pinedale's backyard. It's home to Pioneer Peak, thousands of alpine lakes, and more hiking, fishing, and climbing than a summer calendar can handle. Winter, it transforms into a snowmobiling paradise, with trails that snake through frozen forests and untouched white valleys. Pinedale also carries the echoes of a rowdier past. Just outside town is the Green River Rendezvous site, once a legendary gathering spot in the 1830s for fur trappers and Native American tribes. Today, it's celebrated each summer with Mountain Man reenactments, black powder rifle contests, and buckskin everything. Living here doesn't mean giving up comfort either. Median home prices run between $350,000 and $440,000, and rent averages around $1,200 per month. Not bad when your view includes glacier-carved ridges and star-choked skies. Groceries cost about $325 per month, with plenty of fresh meat, local produce, and outdoor snacks to fuel the next adventure. Locals know the best post-hike meals come with character. Riverside taco patios, hearty elk chili in a lodge setting, or flaky pastries and craft espresso from a cozy bakery that always smells like cinnamon. The vibe is unpretentious, community-driven, and full of people who measure time in sunrises, trail miles, and how long it's been since they saw a bear. In Pinedale, nature doesn't wait politely in the background, it leads. You just have to follow. Number 4. Cody. Imagine living in a town where the pulse of the West still beats strong and every corner feels like a scene from a classic cowboy film. Welcome to Cody, born and named in 1896 by none other than Buffalo Bill Cody, scout, showman, and one of the most legendary figures of the American West. He built this town as a gateway to Yellowstone, envisioning it as a frontier hub with a future. Today, with a population of around 10,000, Cody still feels like it was carved from wide open spaces and stubborn spirit. The heart of Cody isn't just its dusty trails, it's the Buffalo Bill Center of the West, a collective of 5 museums under one roof. Whether you're into historic firearms, Plains Indian culture, or sweeping Western art, it's the kind of place that takes days to explore. Stroll through galleries, examine cavalry gear, and feel history whisper beneath your boots. The rodeo is Cody's thunderous heartbeat. From June through August, the Cody Night Rodeo lights up every evening, and come early. July, the Stampede Rodeo, a century-old tradition since 1919, fills the air with cheers and the scent of smoke from roving food stands. If you've never watched cowboys and cowgirls chase glory under big Wyoming skies, here's your front row ticket. Living here doesn't come cheap, with home prices ranging from $450,000 to $500,000 and rent between $1,200 to $1,500 a month. Cody sits on the higher end for small-town Wyoming. Add about $350 a month for groceries, and it's clear you're paying for the privilege of living in a place where Yellowstone is your backyard and cowboy culture isn't just for show. Want something extra? Try calling into the morning show on local radio to hear cowboys chat about horse sales or bear sightings, or drop into a coffee shop and catch a chat about the best fly fishing spots upriver. This isn't a town that hides behind tourist flair. It wears its identity proudly and shares it with anyone willing to stick around. Number 3, Jackson. If elk crossings, alpine theater, and après-ski brunch sound like your kind of normal, Jackson might be it. Tucked at the base of the Tetons and kissed by Wyoming snow, Jackson isn't just a town, it's a mood. Chic meets rugged, cowboy hats meet luxury fleece, and locals casually ski to work like it's the most normal thing in the world. This high-elevation haven of 10,000 souls has never lost its frontier heart, even as it's grown into one of America's most sought-after mountain towns. And while it's affectionately called Jackson, it's part of the broader Jackson Hole Valley, a name that somehow makes even grocery shopping feel a little more cinematic. Wander into the town square, and you'll pass under giant elk antler arches, built from naturally shed antlers collected by local Boy Scouts, and hear the distant jingle of spurs mixed with the buzz of high-end espresso machines. Locals blend cowboy toughness with mountaineering edge, and the vibe is proudly unpolished, no matter how expensive the boots. You're not just close to nature here, you're inside it. Grand Teton National Park is your backyard, and Yellowstone is a Sunday drive away. Wildlife migration corridors cross the landscape, so don't be surprised if a herd of elk blocks your route to the art gallery. And speaking of art, Jackson boasts an impressive creative scene. From the Jackson Hole Playhouse's year-round shows to gallery walks and the glittering Winterfest, the town offers as much for the soul as it does for the skis. Now, living in Jackson? It's not exactly for the faint of budget. Median home prices hover between $1.5 to $2 million. Rent averages $1,600 to well over $3,200, and groceries will run about $450 a month. Jackson won't pretend it's affordable, but then again, it never pretended to be ordinary either. Number 2, Teton Village. If Jackson is the elegant rebel of the Tetons, then Teton Village is its alpine crown, sophisticated, scenic, and carved straight into the base of the mountain. Perched just 12 miles from Jackson proper, this isn't your classic town with diners and dusty saloons. It's a purpose-built resort village wrapped in wood beam luxury and ski lift access, where every season feels like a curated experience. Built in the 1960s around what would become the iconic Jackson Hole Mountain Resort, Teton Village was designed for those who don't just vacation in the mountains, they live them. Here, adventure doesn't knock, it clips into bindings. With 4,000 plus feet of vertical drop, couloirs that challenge even seasoned pros, and powder that earns legend status, the mountain is the main character. But it's not just about winter. In warmer months, the village flips into a playground of alpine slides, paragliding, hiking, and mountain biking trails that crisscross wildflower meadows and lodgepole pines. Resort plazas buzz with live music, artisan markets, and pop-up yoga. And then there's the indulgence. After an adrenaline-filled day, you can kick off your boots and unwind with fireplace-side wine, lodge-style gourmet dinners, or a casual slope-side taco under the stars. Everything here, from the layout to the lunch menus, feels like it was designed with both rugged spirit and refined taste in mind. If you want to live here, the median homes hover around $1 million and up, and condo rentals range from $1,500 to well over $3,000 a month. Groceries? Still around $450 monthly, though many residents balance upscale meals with the occasional gourmet sandwich from nearby Aspen's market. But here's the truth. No one moves to Teton Village for affordability. They move here to wake up to alpenglow sunrises, ski out of their front door, and fall asleep to the hush of pine trees and snowfall. It's not a town, it's a lifestyle built on elevation, elegance, and just a little bit of mountain magic. Number 1. Laramie. Laramie isn't just a dot on the map. It's a collision point of cowboy boots and graduation gowns, wide open plains, and brilliant ideas. Founded in 1868 as a railroad stop and cattle town, Laramie has grown into one of the most balanced and quietly vibrant places to live in Wyoming. With a population of around 31,000, it offers the feel of a small town with the pulse of a university city, thanks to the University of Wyoming, established here in 1886. Walk through downtown and you'll feel it. A blend of high desert frontier and progressive spirit. Historic buildings like the Lehman Tunnel Mansion, with its Queen Anne turrets, and the Laramie Plains Museum whisper stories of cattle barons and early settlers. Meanwhile, on the same block, you might find a student sipping pour-over coffee while editing a screenplay. This is also the place where Louisa Swain made history in 1870, becoming the first woman to cast a vote under laws, granting women equal suffrage. The Wyoming Women's History House honors that legacy, along with 12 other trailblazing women, while the bronze statue, the franchise, stands as a quiet but powerful reminder of Laramie's role in American history. Cost-wise, Laramie hits a rare balance. Median home prices range from $420,000 to $450,000. Monthly rent falls between $1,000 and $1,500, and groceries hover around $325 to $350 per month. For a town with snow-capped views, rich culture, and deep civic pride, the value feels real, like you're investing in a lifestyle, not just a zip code. Living here feels like finding the sweet spot between nature and narrative. You can spend your morning exploring mountain trails and your evening sampling craft pints at Laramie Brewery, or a slow-cooked steak at Altitude Chop House, chased down with Wyoming whiskey. There's also a surprising array of vegan cafes, farm-to-table kitchens, and chocolate makers, if you're craving something creative. We hope you enjoyed today's journey. Next up is an amazing video we think you'll love. As always, thanks for watching.